Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Patriots, we're ending the week off right by covering all the wild and wacky news headlines that are out there. And we have a lot of wacky just phrases from Kamla Harris, which we'll get into, and Tim Walz, who's her running mate. We have a lot of video clips. I actually don't even know if we're going to get through everything today. We have a ton of freaking news, folks. It's relentless. But I hope you're all doing well, and we did make it through another week of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris running this country into the ground. We can't take another 4 years, folks. We got a lot of Patriots in the chat. Danielle, Terry, Jeff, Sharon. We have Mizzy, Miriam. We got everybody rolling in, folks. Everybody's coming in on the Friday. Couldn't be more than happy to have you join us, as always. Let's jump right into the news with a big headline yesterday where everybody showed up to the same firefighter house. Now, is it firehouse, firefighter house? I don't know. But Pennsylvania, New York, Pennsylvania, President Joe Biden, Pennsylvania will come up later. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamla Harris visited firefighters. Oh, it was Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Okay. So, sorry. I'm on top of it. I was like, I thought it was Pennsylvania, but I'm like, there's another story about Pennsylvania later on, so maybe I was thinking about that one. But here's everybody showing up at the firehouse. And the big picture in all this is I want you to see how the people at the firehouse first treated Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And then I want you to see how they treated Donald Trump. Nobody's excited. Nobody's excited to see that guy or girl. Why? Because they're running the country into the ground. That's why. Look at the cringy look on her face like, oh, God, they don't like us. Nobody likes you guys. It really makes me wonder how you won the 2020 election. It really makes me wonder what kind of foozery is going to happen here in 2024. And here comes in Donald Trump, and just notice the difference.
There he is.
Totally different vibe, right? Here's my issue, and we've talked about this in the past, Patriots. Everything I'm seeing right now, I saw in 2020, where, again, the Trump parades, right? The massive amount of people showing up at the rallies, more people probably this time than ever. The boat parades, the flags flying around all across the nation for this guy. Everybody's excited to see him. Line in the streets when he had his court cases. Line in the streets just to get a glimpse at him in his motorcade. But you don't see any of this for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. Remember the most popular president in American history doesn't get any showing for when his motorcade goes down the street or when he held some sort of speaking engagement. And it's the same thing for Kamala Harris. How the hell is she more popular, allegedly, according to polls, than Donald Trump, but nobody shows up for her stuff? Remember, I don't care if she fills a stadium. Donald Trump fills the stadium, the parking lot, and the surrounding area. She doesn't do any of that. Where's all the parades for Kamala Harris? The last thing I saw was 20 people in their freaking golf carts in their local neighborhood in Florida waving flags that I'm pretty sure they were paid off. Somehow, you guys, she might win. I got a lot of questions. A lot of, alarm bells going off in my mind. It's a little odd. It's a little weird. How's that going to happen? Well, I think we all know. So be careful. Get out and vote this election, folks. If you didn't vote before, we need your vote now. Hopefully, you're voting for Trump 2024. Now, there's some updates here regarding Donald Trump's assassination attempt, because nobody wants to talk about it, and I don't know why. The dude was shot in the head not too long ago, And still no answers, still no motive. Who was the guy talking to? Why did he have multiple cell phones? Why did he have bombs? How did he build that bomb? The dude was supposedly, allegedly an idiot. So how did he get the blasting caps to detonate the bombs? You can only get them two ways. You can either order them on Amazon. That's not really Amazon, but you can order them online, right? And that's ultimately tracked. I think it's through the ATF. I could be wrong on that one. Or you have to build them yourself. And according to bomb experts, pretty much impossible for that kid to build those blasting caps himself because of the chemistry that goes involved in it and the materials. So no questions revolving that. No questions revolving the firearm, really, that he got his hands on, that his father did or didn't give him, or his father did or did not have locked up. The questions surrounding why was he consistently going to these FBI areas where FBI agents tend to meet, supposedly talking to a foreign country, can't get into any of his messages. A lot of unknowns, right? How did he get onto a roof and nobody noticed him, yet the people on the ground, the MAGA supporters, were all waving like, there's a guy with a gun, right? So a little weird. Makes me wonder if our own government was involved in it. I wouldn't put it past them. It's funny enough where Donald Trump gets shot in the head, has a debate, destroys Joe Biden. Joe Biden drops out, allegedly. I say allegedly because he dropped out over Twitter, you guys, over a letter that didn't even have the White House presidential seal. It just had some makeshift signature at the bottom. Didn't even look like Joe Biden's. Well, we got this. You got Senator Blumenthal saying that the public's going to be shocked by Secret Service's failure to protect Trump. I don't think I'm going to... Look, I'm not shocked anymore after what I saw. I just think it might be... I'm a conspiracy theorist in some cases. I don't know. It makes me really wonder if the government was involved in this or a foreign adversary. And I find it a little bit odd that nobody wants to get to the bottom line and we still don't have any answers after a former president was just shot in the head, a guy was killed, and two others were critically wounded. Little odd.
I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security.
Folks, I have the volume turned all the way up. Speak louder!
To be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. And we are going to absolutely insist on the truth and the whole truth in
Patriots, do you believe any of that? Because I don't. We're going to get to the bottom line for you guys. We're going to get to the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God, I swore in.
Documents and testimony as members of the United States Senate, but also as citizens.
What did you learn new today when you said they're going to be appalled?
I'm not going to go into what we have learned in specifics. I'm giving you my reaction.
Yeah, he is crispy.
We'll have a report very, very soon that I think will absolutely shock the American people, or it should, about the lapses and lags in the protection that was afforded that day and the breakdown in communication, failure and responsibility.
Is that report coming today or tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
Is that report coming out tonight or tomorrow?
No.
No, probably after the election so that we can win it, because it's probably going to be partially Remember, it's all under Democrats' rule. All under Democrats' rule. That's all I'm going to say. Now, the report, we got a thing here where Josh Hawley is now saying Department of Homeland Security, folks, this is really breaking news. Homeland Security is pressuring the Secret Service not to comply with document requests by Congress about the Trump assassination attempt. What? What? Folks, this is not part of the show, by the way. I literally just pulled this up right now. What?
See, this is what's so hard to understand, is that if this individual had failed one or more of her training exams, if she was known not to be really one of the Secret Service's top agent, she's in the Pittsburgh office, why was she put in charge of the entire trip, Jesse? I mean, the whole thing. She was in charge of the whole work.
If you're looking at the display at the bottom, it says lead Secret Service agent, advance agent, failed a key exam. This is what DEI does, folks. It gets people killed now at this point. Now DEI hires, you failed the exam, we got to meet a quota, don't worry, come on in. They do the same thing with affirmative action. Oh, your scores weren't that great? Don't worry, you can go to Harvard and fail. It's not a big deal.
Works from the time the president landed to the time he went to Butler. It's just totally inexplicable. And Jesse, one other thing. I'm told by people who are close to and have knowledge of the Secret Service's own internal investigation that the Department of Homeland Security is leaning on the Secret Service not to comply with document requests to Congress. I mean, this is request to Congress. Comply with document requests to Congress. Comply with document requests to Congress. I mean, this is really getting to be outrageous. The American people need the truth here. Jesse?
At what point do those that are not in conspiracy theories start kind of going, that's a little weird? Why is our own government not wanting the truth to come out? Why is the Department of Homeland Security pressing the Secret Service not to comply with Congress? What are they trying to hide? What's trying to be covered up here? You're telling me like a 20-year-old kid that can't get his damn haircut right, sat there, went on a sloped roof about a few hundred feet from the president, got a shot off, that beat the Secret Service? At what point do you say that this was done on purpose? At what point is there so many failures where you go, there's just no fucking way? I'm sorry to cuss. I know some of you got kids in the car and everything, but that's somebody died. 2 people were critically wounded and a president was shot in the head. At what point is there so many failures where you run kind of a calculation, not literally, but you know what I mean, kind of in your head going, there's just no way. Like, there's no way there was this many failures without specifically doing something on purpose. They wanted him dead. They wanted him dead. Tucker Carlson thought so. Benny Johnson thought so. I thought so. Everybody thought so. I mean, that was all that's left, right? His own kids thought so. It's all out there on recording on podcasts. So that was the last step. And they didn't get what they wanted. And so they knew that Joe Biden wasn't going to win, right? Because that was the only way Joe Biden was going to win if Donald Trump was 6 feet into the ground. They didn't get what they wanted because they're probably the guy that they hired was a dumb shit. And thank God missed because Trump turned his head. But the media doesn't want to cover it. The media doesn't want to get to the end. How is that? How is this not still mainstream news that Donald Trump was shot in the head and that somebody died? And then we don't have answers. Who the hell was the kid? Who was he working with? The DHS secretary doesn't want the Secret Service to comply. There's so many unknowns. It is really wild, you guys, if you go down these rabbit holes. Here's another case in point that we talked about. We still don't know shit about the pipe bombs on January 6th that were outside of the RNC and DNC. The same, the same area where the pipe bomb was found. Kamla Harris was there. Why was she not at the Capitol? Why was she not somewhere else? She would have walked mere feet from that pipe bomb. That pipe bomb was outside her building where the Secret Service were at, where local police were at. It was reported. Still, we know nothing. We don't know who placed the pipe bomb there. With all the cameras down there, if anybody's been on the East Coast, Washington, D.C., the DMV area, with all the cameras, you could track somebody for miles. You're telling me you couldn't follow those cameras in the streets to the dude getting into a car or a building and track his license plate? Really? A lot of unknowns. In the same way, a lot of unknowns with the cocaine that was found in the White House. You don't have cameras set up in that place like galore? That place should be locked up like Fort Knox. No clue, because Dan Bongino finds it a little bit odd that you found cocaine in the White House and you don't have any answers, and that dude was in the Secret Service. In the same way, Dan Bongino's wondering what the hell's going on with this assassination attempt, and that dude was in the Secret Service. Weird that we don't get any answers, but the most trustworthy news is out there, folks. The most trustworthy and transparent administration that's ever existed, according to them, is out there. But this is the same news. This is the same administration that works in conjunction with the legacy media to go against Donald Trump. And you know what? Donald Trump still has the advantage even after the debate, baby. Even after he didn't have his greatest performance, we have Donald Trump going in to the election with a little bit of a bump here. So normally in a presidential race, this is where the race heats up. It's not where the race ends. That's particularly true this year because one of the candidates is still completely unknown. Nobody knows who Kamla Harris is. She barely, hours before the debate, posts her policies, and half of them aren't even real. And yet the media has declared, since the news cycle moves so fast and since Trump is such a known quantity, that because Trump did not perform well in the debate this week and because the media ganged up with Kamala Harris in the most rigged debate ever, which is true, Trump is effectively done. No, he's not. A Newsweek article published this morning cites pollster Frank Luntz as predicting Trump's loss. I think this race is over now. Donald Trump has blown it. It's completely done. I'm trying to decide if I want to go on record, and the answer is yes. I think that he loses because of this debate performance. First of all, there's still September. There's still October. You have 2 full months. Folks, nobody's talking about Donald Trump getting shot in the head like 4 days after it happened. This debate, nobody's going to remember it. Everybody's cycling Donald Trump's closing argument or his closing speech there where, why didn't you do it, Kamala? You've been in office. You could do it now. You can leave right now. We can cut this short and you could sign the executive order along with Joe Biden and fix the border. You're not doing it. You won't do it. So that's what's circulating. None of really Kamala Harris clips are circulating over the internet. I mean, the ones that are just making her look bad. But Trump still has the advantage, folks. Don't let them think so. To begin, the ratings on this debate were good, but not historically amazing. Meaning not everybody really saw it. Apparently, about 67 million total viewers watched this debate, but 67 million total viewers, how many of those were undecided voters or independents who are actually going to decide this election? That's the real question. And quite frankly, we're not totally sure. So it didn't have that much effect. That was kind of the analysis that we gave, where people go in and out. Nobody watches the whole thing. And as I mentioned during the debate, they front-loaded all those things like January 6th, right? The classified documents, the court cases, all the negative things about Donald Trump within the first 45 minutes to the hour, because everybody's going to go to bed after that hour. So nobody really watched the closing speeches or the closing statements. There's 54 days left still, 53 roughly. Early voting starts very soon. Hey, what's going on, Lisa, Terry, Danielle, Johnny? I see all of you. Jeff, Sharon, I see all of you in the chat. Greatly appreciate it. Dizzy and Def's over there at Rumble. We got RJ over here as well. Greatly appreciate it, folks. I see you. I don't want you to think that I don't. Oh, I do. So things are over, but the debates are. So Donald Trump has come out and said, hey, look, I'm not going to debate her again. She didn't show up to the Fox debate. They ended up doing a town hall. I mean, how many debates? So she's begging this guy for another debate, which I didn't think was going to happen. I don't know why she's begging him for another debate. She did come out on top, or at least broke even. But he declared on Thursday that he would not participate in another debate against Vice President Kamala Harris, who signaled that she wants a second face-off, but only after getting favorable treatment. And that's to put it politely. It was 3v1, and Donald Trump doesn't need to go out and do another debate. It's not going to benefit him to do one. It's only going to benefit Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris needs another opportunity to display who she is, what her policies are. She needs it because Donald Trump's the one that gets the viewers. Donald Trump's the one that brings in the crowds. Donald Trump's the one that people tune in to listen to, not Kamala Harris. In the same way, nobody shows up to her events. She has to have celebrities there performing at her events, and she has to pay actors to come in and bust them in from different areas and surrounding areas. Donald Trump doesn't need that. No, Donald Trump's doing just fine doing his speaking engagements. Everybody likes him. Everybody knows who he is. And it's Kamala Harris that nobody knows who they are, which is really an astonishing thing. And we say this all the time. The fact that people are going to vote for Kamala Harris while at the same time openly acknowledging they don't know anything about her. It is insane that we have people voting that don't do their research, that don't look anything up. They just see Democrat and go, gonna vote for Democrat, and then complain about the very things that they vote in for. I don't know where the wires get crossed and at what point. If Donald Trump or a Republican was consistently reaming this country, pushing it into the ground, then I wouldn't vote for them. I'm not beholden to a party. I just wouldn't vote at the top of the ticket. A lot of people that are voting for Trump now that are conservatives or Republicans in 2016 didn't vote at the top of the ticket. They didn't vote for either one. So that's what's weird to me is that you're going to go, and we did this with Dan, right? We've done this with a lot of Democrats that weaseled their way into our chat. I get that you don't like Donald Trump. I get it. Now, I'm a man's man. He's from New York, right? You heard his accent come out during the debate. We all know who Donald Trump is. The dude's been on television. Everybody's seen this guy and the way he talks. They've seen interviews. He's written books. Like, everybody knows, a billionaire. He was a playboy. I mean, the dude has women running after him left and right. Do any of us boys have that? No. Everybody acts like they know what the challenge is. You know, oh, God, like fending off 50 women every single day. Like, you don't have that challenge. Get out of here. So we all know who he is. He's a New Yorker. He's rough around the edges. He doesn't put up with bullshit. And I like that. I like that. So, and I know I'm going on a rant here. Folks, presidents have been talking bleep, crap, rough around the edges since the inception of this country. If you go back and read the letters from John Adams and Jefferson, look at the way they talked to one another. Or if you read other letters between our founding fathers and those that created this country, and look at the way they talked to each other back then, it still seems kind of polite because of the way they wrote back then, but it's no different than the way that Donald Trump kind of talks about people. So this whole idea, because we don't teach history anymore, we teach revisionist history. We have to teach that Republicans are the racist and the ones that were promoting slavery, all this stupid stuff in the school system. Nobody actually gets down to the bottom line of how former presidents actually talk to one another, or how our founding fathers actually conversed with one another, and how it wasn't always, flowers and perfume and all nicety stuff. But nobody wants to talk about that, because we have to make this fake makeshift story that Donald Trump is, a terrible person. He's so bad. It's weird because it seems like a lot of people like Donald Trump, but it's weird that, Democrats have to get illegals to vote. They have to have them pour into our country to get the vote. They have to sit there and rig the election. They have to sit there and use moderators to help them in the same way the moderators helped Joe Biden because his brain's not working. So when a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, "I want a rematch." Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamla Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. Maybe there is truth to it. I mean, I didn't think Donald Trump won. I thought Donald Trump performed in the same manner he did in 2016, where he's defending himself the entire time, which he took the bait. But I didn't think Kamala Harris went over my expectation. She just met what I thought she was going to do. Maybe for some people, she came out on top because they're usually seeing her act like a bumbling buffoon, like a clown. But again, because I saw a lot of her interviews when she was here in California, I knew what to expect. And that's why I set all the Patriots up saying, if you think she's going to walk in and go, act like an idiot with her word salad, I said, no, that ain't going to happen. She's going to come out and act pretty normal. And I know I'm putting air quotes there because she's not normal. She's a freaking radical lefty. So we have Donald Trump here just yesterday talking about this during a speech. We got a lot of video clips coming up here, folks. So if you haven't already, hit that like button. It really does support us. It helps push our videos out there with the help of the algorithm to send our videos out there to new viewers. And we're trying to get noticed and spotlighted. Will that happen? I don't know, because YouTube sucks ass. Here we go.
No show at the Fox debate. Fox invited her. She was a no-show. I sat with the great Sean Hannity. Does anybody know Sean Hannity? Good man. He's a good man. And I said, where is she? She didn't show, so we did a town hall. And he got great ratings on that town hall, I'll tell you right now. Got really great. Led all of television for the week. It's not bad, right? Simple town hall. Turned out to be a town hall from what it was supposed to be, but she didn't show up. And refused also to do NBC and CBS. She went over to ABC, which in my opinion has taken a big hit because these two people were bad news. They kept screaming at me. I said, why are you screaming? I'm saying to myself, I'm looking at him. I always liked him. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not going to watch him because he's not legit, what he did. I'm not going to watch him. And his hair's not as good as it used to be,
I haven't seen any of these clips. Oh. I'm trying not to cough. I'm still under the weather. I'm actually still sick. I am still sick, so I'm contagious. Oh, that's good.
Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period.
Oh, man. So I love that he brings up the fact she didn't show up. There was a debate scheduled. She didn't want to do it, but now she's begging for other debates. So Fox business guest debate, does Kamala translate to votes? Let's look. So Fox business guest Lee Carter said on Tuesday, evening's debate was not going to translate to any new votes for Vice President Kamala Harris. Like I said, it seemed like it was really just going to be a wash. If anything, I still think because of Donald Trump's movement in terms of what we saw with the registry on Fox News, with the dialing in of independent voters moving in the same direction as the Republicans, that's always a good sign that they're leaning more towards Donald Trump than Kamala Harris. Nobody still knows her policy. She's just saying, hey, we want to give you a bunch of handouts for first-time home buyers. We want to sit there and pander to people. But there's no actual real guarantee that she's going to do the things that she said she's going to do. Again, she's just making promises, but the conversation's always been, and it will always be this: why have you not done it? You had 3.5 years. Well, it's going to be 4 years to do all these things you said you're going to do. So why, if you've sat there and done none of it, why would all of a sudden I just start believing you that you're going to be doing all these things that you're promising? When all of a sudden Democrats are for cutting taxes, when the hell did that happen? All of a sudden, Democrats are for stopping illegal immigration. When did that all of a sudden happen? That hasn't been going on for a decade. All of a sudden, Democrats are for building a border wall. All of a sudden, Democrats are for doing this and that. That's weird. It's weird how all of a sudden Democrats are turning into Republicans just in the past 20 days. In the past 20 days, haven't done any of this in like a decade, but all of a sudden, just a turn of a dime, weird. And there's no thought in Democrats' heads, no thought whatsoever of like, it's a little weird. My party has been saying this for 10 years, that a border wall was racist, that if we said anything about illegal immigrants, if we even called them illegal aliens, it was racist. If we put them in cages, it was racist. If we did anything, it was racist. But all of a sudden, in 20 days, over 10 years, in 20 days, you flipped the script. No thought of going, that's a little weird. That's a little weird that my party's all of a sudden for all these things that I was against for so long. Now they're for all this. Weird. Because I was out chanting Donald Trump was a racist for the border wall. Weird. But no thought. It's a remarkable thing. And when you question on them, I don't want to talk about it. Hey, what are some of Kamala Harris's policies that you enjoy that's actually going to make a difference? Can't name any. And if they do, well, why didn't she do it before? Don't have any answers. Just watch all those on the street interviews. It's a remarkable thing. It is a fascinating thing to watch how people can't sit there and actually clarify while they're voting for a candidate. I love her. She's just done great things. What has she done? Yeah, well, I wasn't prepared to answer. Shouldn't you at least have some sort of answer prepared, or at least some sort of coherent thinking as to why you're going to sit there and screw over everybody else in the country because you think she's a great person but can't tell us why she's a great person? This is the failure of the education system because nobody can back up their shit. It's just they say a bunch of stuff, even though as idiotic as it is, you have to treat it like it's a great opinion when it's not, and have to treat it like, oh, wow, you answered my question when you didn't. And then here's all the points. And then they go on their merry way. They go to college, right? They get indoctrinated by the progressive left professors out there. They come out as adults, and this is the answers we get. Hey, why are you voting for Kamala? Oh, well, because she's great. She's done great things. Cool. What she's done? Well, she's done things for the American people. Doesn't answer your question, right? But that will get points for you in college. Hey, well, can you give me like specifics, policies? Well, not right now. I wasn't prepared, but I'm going to vote for her anyways.
Had focus groups at Live that were saying that she did a great job that night, but she did not win any votes. Not one single person did I talk to that changed their mind based on that debate. And I found it fascinating because people said that she did a great job. They said that she was, all of these things. And I was like, then why aren't you going to vote for her? And here's what they said. The undecided voter, I had 9 of them in the room, said, I wanted to hear what she's going to do differently than Joe Biden. I wanted to hear.
This is key. I wanted to hear what she was going to do differently than Joe Biden. I'd imagine what she's going to say, again, I haven't seen this clip, is that they didn't hear anything different. She is Joe Biden. That's why Donald Trump said she is Joe Biden. And then Kamala Harris comes back during the debate going, I'm clearly not Joe Biden. I'm clearly not Joe Biden, and neither is he. I'm Kamala and he's Donald Trump. Like a stupid ass remark. This is key because Donald Trump doesn't need to do a debate because it just gives her another platform that people are going to tune in to listen to Donald Trump, but hear Kamala Harris's policies, and who she really is. She needs another debate. Donald Trump doesn't.
What's different about the economy? I can't afford groceries now. I used to be able to afford groceries. What's she going to do to bring prices down? She didn't answer that very simple question for them, and it doesn't translate to votes. So
Exactly right. Exactly right. Democrats are going to vote Democrat. Republicans are going to vote Republican. It's the people in the middle that are undecided. It is an interesting thing to me that I should probably do more research into independents, because we have majority of our patriots are actually independents, registered independent voters, actually, rather than conservative Republicans. I find it fascinating. There's not really one side that independents tend to lean on versus being an independent or Democrat. I find that fascinating because there's not everything I agree with the Republican Party on, which is why I'm a fiscal conservative at heart, even though I'm registered Republican. If we had a conservative party, I would be registered in that, but we don't. It's just Republicans tend to align more with my values than an independent or obviously Democrat or progressive left. But here we have a pundit here declares Kamala an honorary Republican after more flip-flops. Like I mentioned, it's astonishing when you again, I live in California, so that's all you get to talk to is Democrats. Why are you all of a sudden just okay with all these things that you weren't okay with before? They can't answer it. They can't answer any of our questions. And how many times, Patriots, have we had somebody in the chat that can't answer basic questions? I'm talking 5th grade level basic questions. What you do is you minimize the word count in your sentence, just so it's as clear and as simple as possible for them to engage with that and answer clearly. They can't do it. Do you want to know why they don't answer our questions? You want to know why they won't tell you who they're voting for all the time, or why they're voting for somebody that's doing all these crazy things? Is because they're embarrassed. That's all it is. They're embarrassed and they're ashamed that they're voting for Democrats this coming election. They're ashamed that they voted for Joe Biden and that they're willing to sit there and drive this country down again. They're ashamed that they're going to vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're ashamed of the things their party has done since its inception. They're ashamed of the fact that they've lost 350,000 children to slavery, forced labor, and sex trafficking. They're ashamed that they allowed 9.1% inflation, 40-year high that I've never seen in my lifetime. They're ashamed that they have to now make $15,000 to $20,000 more under Joe Biden than they did under Donald Trump. They're ashamed that they cost about $4,000 to $5,000 minimum of Americans' retirements because of their vote. They're ashamed of the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are allowing our military personnel to be attacked all across the world, along with our merchant vessels and our allies. They're ashamed that Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, allowed 13 service members to die and get blown up. They're ashamed at the way that their party is treating our veterans across the country. They're ashamed the fact that our veterans are being kicked out of hotels and being replaced by refugees from Afghanistan and Iraq, even though the veterans that were in those hotels served in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're ashamed at the fact of all the things their party has done over the last 4 years, and they won't admit it, because the second they admit it, their entire worldview collapses. And when their worldview collapses, now they got some sort of instability mentally, and things go south real quick. They don't want to acknowledge it. They can't acknowledge it, because the second they acknowledge it, then their worldview is shattered. And that's what it's all about right there, folks. I hope you enjoyed that rant. Hit that like and subscribe button if you feel like we are doing a good job here on the Bald Brad Show. So she's flip-flopping left and right here. In the past several weeks, Harris has systematically attempted to abandon her own radical liberal views, which she's not, right? It's all makeshift. It's all make-believe. It's all BS at the end of the day. One she proudly touted during her ill-fated 2019 run for the presidency by having low-level aides leak her walkbacks and flip-flops to friendly mainstream media outlets. Her campaign surrogates have done everything they could to put distance between Harris and her current boss, but Joey won't allow her to do that. No. Joey has her. The second she starts swimming off, right, he throws out the bait, right? He's on the boat. He's on like a 25-foot outboard, twin dual motors, Grady White. He's sitting there in the Pacific, just reeling, right? Trolling the water a little bit, chumming the water full of lies, full of bait, right? She's going to come and grab it, right? Because she has to, because she's slimy. She's part of the swamp. And he's reeling, right? Joey's reeling with his scrawny-ass arms. He has it hooked up in the belt like you see in the movie Jaws. And just, woo! He got her, right? He's pulling her in. Come on. We got her. Good girl. Oh, she's heavy. She's heavy. Holy Lord. Here we go. Come on. No. You're coming back. You're part of me. We're tethered now. Come on. Yep, you're a part of the economy. Yep, you're part of everything we destroyed together. You can't get away from it. Oh boy, she's a fighter. That's exactly what's going on here. Exactly what's going on. So she's still serving as vice president. She doesn't want to fix anything in the same way Joe Biden doesn't want to fix anything. Folks, he's on the beaches of Delaware. The dude's taken more vacation than any sitting president in modern history. This guy's broken so many records. He has more medals than Michael Phelps. I'm still waiting to see what happens with his teleprompter. If nobody sits there and puts that teleprompter in his library, his presidential library, it's doing a great disservice, not just to the American people, but to the teleprompter. Because if I ever visit that library, I ain't going to learn a damn thing about Joe Biden. I'm going to sit there and make sure I get a selfie with that teleprompter that kicked Joe Biden's ass for 4 years. Now we got CNN here.
My nightcap. I was scrolling through the debate news today, and I read headlines that say things like, why Kamla Harris has embraced America's oil boom. Harris embraces U.S. fossil fuels. Harris frack.
Did you see that side eye? Can we go back? So he's about to sit there and just crap on Democrats, right? Watch her side eye right there, looking at the producers. Look at this. Watch this.
Harris embraces.
Did you see that? Because she knows that all the CNN viewers are about to listen to this guy speaking facts and truth, red pilling their audience. And you know she has a producer in her ear going, shut the guy up, cut him off soon, we can't do it, alarm bells are going on, people are leaving.
Harris has embraced America's oil boom. Harris embraces U.S. fossil fuels. Harris, frack on, my dudes. Harris embraces oil and gas on debate stage. And then I heard her say she's a gun owner. And so I know this is going to break your heart.
No.
I just want to once again welcome.
I know this is going to break your heart. Yes.
We got a Democrat who's out here trying to pump oil and buy guns.
She's going too far to the right.
And I don't know if she means it or not, but it is a step in the right direction when a national Democrat can embrace fossil fuels and gun ownership at the same time. Welcome, Kamala Harris, honorary Republican of the night.
I love that. And look at Anna Navarro of The View, probably about to lose her crap, right? She's spazzing out. She doesn't know what to do. Somebody knows what to do in the chat, and that's Dizzy and Def with the $5. Love you, brother. Long live the Bald Brad Show. Greatly appreciated, man. You're always supporting this show, as does everybody else. Just watching, buying the badges, buying the membership. You guys are giving your hard-earned money to a patriot such as myself. But look, we're all patriots here. And just so you know, again, all the money, all the proceeds go back into the show. It's not going towards paying my bills. It's going towards running promotions. It goes towards paying for our website. We have to pay for the software, right? The Adobe stuff, the Photoshop. There's a lot of things we pay for. That's on a monthly thing here to run the show. So I greatly appreciate all the help you guys do here. And like I said, just watching, tuning in all the time, hitting that like button, that's what really does help as well. But those that give their hard-earned money, always greatly appreciate. You guys work hard for that stuff, and it doesn't go unnoticed. That's for damn sure. Even if it's $1, that means a lot to me. Now, we also have the same the same CNN panel, and one of them instantly gets ratioed by the entire panel for lying about Kamala Harris's plan on banning fracking. Watch this. So same panel, same people, different issue.
On the fracking question to the vice president, and this is me as a liberator. She, in 2019, when she was running, she said, I'm done with, fracking. We're going to do away with it. You can't say you're going to do away with it. They had her dead to right on that. What you can say as a candidate that I'm not in 2019, I'm not in 2020, and you know what? I changed my mind.
I guess the reality of it is that she reversed herself in 2020. Like that.
That's not true. No, she didn't.
But you know,
that's not accurate at all.
But you know what?
But it's a weak argument.
No, stop. It's a lie. Is what it is. Now, on the fracking question to the vice president.
I love that. No, Scott, it's a lie. You're right. It is a lie. And they got called out in real time. It's remarkable when you don't put yourself in a bubble, and that when you don't just have everybody on your panel on CNN that sits there and wants to go along with your BS narrative. Or if they are Republicans, they're just rhinos pretending to be Republicans, in the same way Antifa pretends to be anti-fascist when in actuality they're fascist. Or when they're the Democrat Party and they pretend to be for building a border wall, right? All of a sudden they love gun ownership, right? All of a sudden they love free speech. It's like, come on. It's just funny when you don't have people that are sitting there pushing the same narrative as you on your panel. Well, all of a sudden you get pushback. Now, speaking of the border wall, speaking of illegal immigration, well, we said we would try to do this every day, which we could, but there's a lot, there's a lot I apologize, coughing to the mic. There's a lot of news to cover here regarding just everything surrounding Kamla Harris, but an illegal alien here with ties to Venezuelan gang has been arrested for a November kidnapping and a home invasion murder. Isn't it weird? Can we pause? Isn't it weird that we get hit hard over the head for saying that there's an invasion happening at our southern border, but yet we call it a home invasion when somebody, even if it's just one person, invades your home? Can somebody explain that to me? Because years ago, I'm gonna put in a cough drop here. Years ago, I posted a short that showed, hey, 120,000 troops of Russia invade Ukraine. But yet when 10 million people invade our southern border, we can't call it that. But yet it's a home invasion when one person invades your home. Weird. The logic in my scenario is linear. It's linear. But in Democrats and progressive left, it's not.
Murder of a drowned man and a Venezuelan gang may be behind the disturbing crime.
Now lawmakers are calling on the White House to help stop this criminal organization. Jamie Grillo is live outside the jail in Northwest Miami-Dade with more on this violent story tonight. Jamie.
The victim kidnapped outside a hotel, then murdered. Tonight, a second suspect accused in the crime is behind bars.
Good afternoon, sir. You were arrested pursuant to an arrest warrant, extradited from Panama.
After an intense and months-long search, authorities located and arrested Julio Cesar Hernandez Montero. According to police, the 27-year-old is one of the accomplices of Yurin Salazar Matia. Matia arrested in January for the murder, robbery, kidnapping, and home invasion of Jose Luis Valera.
What? Come on, he's just here for a better life, guys. No, we need to allow everybody in, unvetted. We don't need to look at anybody. Open borders. Open borders. You can't, no, if you want to start vetting patriots, you're a bigot, you're a racist. No, these people are just here for a better life, according to Kamla Harris, the border czar, who says, I was only in position to sit there and figure out why people are coming here in the first place. They're here because of famine and drought. They couldn't get a job. So they came here strictly just to work and have a better life. They didn't come here to kill people. They didn't come here to be a part of a gang. They didn't come here to sex traffic children and rape them and murder them. No. You can't say any. These are all good people, you guys. I don't even think this guy should be in jail. Why be in jail? He's just here for a better life, to make things better for him and his family back home.
Valera found dead last November in the backseat of his own vehicle, his hands and feet bound with tape.
You guys know I'm being satirical, obviously. Guy should be freaking 6 feet into the ground for killing somebody. He should never been here in the first place.
The victim's brother told us in January that his body was brutally beaten. According to police, surveillance video shows the victim leaving a La Quinta when Montero and 2 other men kidnapped him.
There's probable cause for all of the charges.
Police believe after the kidnapping, the suspects invaded the victim's home, demanded money from a roommate, and stole a safe. According to an arrest warrant, Montero's cell phone data put him at the hotel, the victim's home, and where the body was found.
The trend Theyre are.
We don't need to watch any more of that scumbag sitting there. I don't want to look at that guy at all. We're not done with that, though. Like I said, we got more here. A Guatemalan illegal alien was arrested in Alabama. We got patriots in Alabama after he attacked a veteran when a Facebook marketplace meeting turned into a setup. It's not happening, though, you guys. Remember, like Jean-Pierre said about a year ago, these people aren't walking across the border. We know who everybody is. You know, they're coming here for a better life. You know, you can't talk about these things. They're not conducting murders and eating animals and all this other stuff. No. Remember when Donald Trump said violent gang members, MS-13, were animals? And then the Democrats came after him. You're sick, you scumbag. How could you say that? Well, because they're cutting people's heads off, using their skulls as soup bowls, and wearing their victims' teeth as necklaces. That's pretty barbaric. That's pretty animalistic. It's primal.
In County, the sheriff's office says a veteran was attacked when he responded to a Facebook marketplace ad for a trailer. Now he is sharing details. Coleman County Sheriff Mark Gentry says the suspect is an undocumented Guatemalan immigrant. The victim, Glenn Gilden, is recovering from wounds he received when that meeting turned into a robbery. He says the suspect pulled a knife on him and demanded all of his money. Gilden says he pulled out his gun, shot at his attacker, threw that gun down, and then escaped.
I'm an old soldier, you know. I don't want to be shot down like a dog. after what anybody would argue is a terrible decision, to throw my gun down and walk away from it and be up there in the woods.
Gilden believes if stronger policies with illegal immigration were implemented, this would have been prevented. Despite what happened, he says he is thankful to be alive. A full interview with Gilden can be found right now on our website.
Those are just a couple stories of dozens, by the way, that happen each and every day. You don't hear about it because the mainstream news doesn't want to cover it. You have to find localities that end up covering it. And here's a callback that localities are covering here. We talked about this about 2 weeks ago, maybe longer, on how a illegal alien has pleaded guilty to voter fraud. But remember, it's not happening, you guys. Yeah, this illegal alien that they're referring to voted in 2016 and 2020. But remember, they're not voting. How many people have told us this? Joe Biden has said this. Kamla Harris has said this. Tim Walz has said this. Almost every mainstream Democrat has said this. ABC News, it's preposterous. Illegals aren't voting, right? Everybody's saying they aren't, but yet it's weird how this person pleads guilty for doing the thing that said that they weren't doing by Democrats.
Documented woman from North Alabama has pleaded guilty to voting and passport fraud. The Department of Justice says 42-year-old Angelica Marina Francisco obtained the identity of a U.S. citizen back in 2011. She used the false identity to get a passport and vote in the 2016 and 2020 primary and general elections. The DOJ says the penalty for aggravated identity theft is 2 years in prison. The maximum penalty for false statements in an application for a passport, using the passport, and a false claim of citizenship for voting is a total of 25 years in prison. An undocumented.
Remember, though, freest and fairest election that's ever existed, you guys. Yeah, you can't ask any questions here whatsoever. Now, what's also interesting from AP News is a replacement of Milwaukee election official unrelated to 2020 election. Why are people being replaced in the first place? This is the lady that printed the 64,000 ballots right here. This was not part of the show. I'm just pulling this up right now. Look at this. Claim Milwaukee Election Commission Executive Director Woodall was fired in recent days for her role in rigging the 2020 election. And they'll say that's not true. The fact that 2024 election, just 6 months away, social media users continue to promote erroneous claims on election-related fraud in 2020, most recently with a spotlight on Wisconsin. This is what's being said, that this director was replaced just 6 months before the presidential election. This reason, mainstream media says it's nothing to see here, but some reports say otherwise. Claire printed 64,000 ballots in a back room in City Hall in Milwaukee and had random employees fill them out for the 2020 presidential election. Biden won Wisconsin over Trump by a margin of 20,000 votes. The post has received 26,000 likes and more than 12,000 shares. They're saying that this individual was replaced in a surprise move on May 6th, announcing that her deputy would be charged of the election commission, but the change has nothing to do with how she ran the elections in 2020. So it doesn't actually change anything. You're just saying, oh, well, hey, she was let go because of something other than what took place in 2020. Well, I'm not going to believe anything the news says. You guys lie about so much stuff. You guys lied about the Charlottesville thing for 7 years, and it took you 7 years to sit there, one of you guys, meaning Snopes, to sit there and debunk it. So this is the problem we have, is it says AP fact check, right? Up there at the top, next to my logo. It says AP fact check right there. But when you guys fact check, you lie, just like we saw during the debate. You guys don't tell the truth. You guys sit there and lie to people consistently, so that maybe when you do tell the truth, it's like the boy who cried wolf, and you might be right, people are going to turn a blind eye to the very thing that might be truth because you lie so often that you can't get your shit straight ever. And it's a remarkable thing. And that you will strategically put lies out there, like we saw from the Times Magazine just yesterday. And then later on, you'll sit there and correct it, but you'll hide the correction. You won't announce that you're wrong in the first place because it hurts your credibility, and that people are still running away with the lie that you said in the first place and never saw the correction because you put out the correction in some random order in some magazine that nobody reads in the first place, and nobody actually gets the truth. Now, I told you, folks, it's a longer show today. We got a lot of stuff. I apologize that I'm still under the weather. We're coughing a little bit. We got a runny nose. We're still contagious, but it's okay. We're locked away in the closet doing the Bald Brad Show. Again, if you haven't already, folks, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does support the show. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. Well, here's Kamala Harris being extremely cringy and mocks President Trump for concepts. This comes from the debate where Trump said, well, I'm not president yet, but I have a concept of it. Well, at least a concept is better than what she has, because she has no policies. And the policies she does have, half of them she's stolen from the guy that has concepts.
Concept. You remember, he has, quote, concepts of a plan. Concepts of a plan. I mean, we're 54 days from this election. Concepts of a plan.
You see what she does? We're 54 days from this election, and she's going to talk about concepts of a plan. Bitch, you haven't even done a press conference. You've done one 18-minute interview that they cut up to make you look good so that you didn't look bad. That was pre-recorded, and that you had to have your safety animal next to you, meaning Tim Walz. This whole idea, this is what they do. We said this during the debate. Whatever they're doing, they're going to project it back on the Donald Trump. She's been in office for almost 4 years and hasn't done anything. Where are all your concepts? Where are all the plans that you said when you guys were coming in the first days of office that you were going to do and execute? At least he has an idea. You don't have a damn thought in your head, Kamala. She don't know what the hell's going on. Same way her boss doesn't know what's going on. But it's, again, I always say this. I know I'm repeating myself. I'm fully aware of it. It's remarkable that that place, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people have no concept of the fact that she's in office right now, that she could fix a lot of the issues that they started. And let's just talk about the fact that they started the issues in the first place and that they'll still vote for it. If you weren't here yesterday, I gave you that circle, right? Where Democrats vote in Democrats. Democrat politicians cause everybody's problems. Democrats complain about the problems from the individual that they voted into office. Democrat politician says, I'm going to sit there and fix the problems that I created. And then the Democrats will vote back in a Democrat politician who's promising to fix the problems that they created in the first place. And there is no sense of understanding of the fact that it's just going in a circle consistently, which is the definition of insanity. There is no concept of that idea. It is a remarkable, it is a fascinating thing that I think needs to be studied, because holy lordy, taxes they complain about. They complain about their freaking First and Second Amendment rights being chiseled away. They complain about the homeless crisis. They complain about the immigration crisis. They complain about their dogs and cats and ducks being eaten. They complain about the home invasions, the sex trafficking, the gangs, the violence. They complain about all these things. I'm going to fix all your problems. Yes, I'm voting Democrat again. But you voted in the guy in the first place that caused all the problems. And now the lady that could be fixing the problems, along with the guy that caused the problems in office right now, could have been doing it for 3.5 years. Here she is again, gloating on the fact that lawfare, Banana Republic, is basically what she wants on how they sat there and went after Donald Trump.
Well, here's the thing. The courts will take care of that. Let's take care of November. How about that?
Yeah, the courts will take care of that. Yep. I bet they will. If Donald Trump loses this, you guys, he's going to jail, by the way. If Donald Trump doesn't become president, he is probably going to go to jail without Secret Service protection because Democrats want him dead. If that doesn't get out the vote, I don't know what does, man. Other than the fact that Kamala Harris is going to destroy this country, other than the fact that she's been lying through her teeth, through her dentures for a long time now. And what's astonishing here is Kamala says Goldman Sachs said my plan would grow the economy and his plan would shrink the economy. Folks, it's an outright lie. It's an outright lie. Goldman Sachs came out. The CEO of Goldman Sachs said earlier just yesterday that Kamala Harris lied about this. So here she is lying again. No thought in the crowd.
Goldman Sachs, for example, has said that my plan would grow our economy and his plan would shrink the economy.
Isn't it remarkable that they keep attributing all these things to Donald Trump as if he's never been president? The economy didn't shrink under Donald Trump. It went through the roof. It's wild.
And his plan would reignite inflation. And
again, can we play that back? Is it an amazing thing? Hold on. Talk about the reigniting inflation. Listen.
Inflation would reignite inflation.
Now, if you were in the crowd, wouldn't you go, reignite inflation. Wouldn't that trigger like, oh, just not too long ago is 9.1%. I couldn't afford groceries, my electricity bill, gas prices, anything. My interest rates went up. Like, wouldn't all of us be sitting in that crowd going, man, that's a little weird. Like, can you just put the shoe on the other foot? That's Donald Trump, right? Say Donald Trump caused record inflation. I'd be sitting there going like, yeah, but dude, you kind of caused it, bro. Like, you kind of caused that inflation. No thought.
And send us into a recession by the middle of next year.
Oh, boy. We're not done with it yet. She says she has a plan for lowering the cost of living, but first of all, she doesn't. And again, she hasn't done it for the last 3.5 years. But it's a typical promise made by a politician that's on the Democrat side of the aisle that will never be given to the American people.
And I have a plan to lower the cost of living for America's families on everything from health care to groceries.
Yo, they've been saying this. They've been saying this since Obama. Your premiums are going to go down with Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. Doesn't matter what you call it. No, she doesn't have a plan, you guys. Her plan is to give first-time home buyers $25,000, which just subsidizes it. It just increases the price of the home. If you know that somebody that's a first-time home buyer is going to sit there and make a deal on your house, then you just sit there and increase the price by $25,000. That's all you do. Furthermore, she's going to go, oh, well, if you're a first-time parent, your first-time child, you get $6,000 credit. Cool, you paid for diapers the first year. Does it help? Absolutely. But what about the rest of Americans that are going to lose a lot of the child tax credit, majority of it, that Donald Trump gave to a lot of Americans called the Trump tax credit, the tax cuts? Those are all going away. She doesn't want to talk about that. No, none of it. But Democrats will vote to get us all reamed because they love it. It's from behind. They love it. They love this. Sir, may I have another? Now, here she is saying, I know the challenge that Americans and the working people and families are having right now in terms of affording housing. Well, if you do, then what? I mean, this has been going on for years. And why didn't you fix it? Why didn't you work on it the last 3.5 years? What the hell have you been doing? Again, nothing, because your boss has been on vacation for half the time.
I know the challenges that Americans and working people and families are having right now in terms of affordable housing. I know the challenges that
Democrats vote Democrats. Democrat politician makes the problems. Democrats complain about the problems. Democrat campaigns, like you see here, saying she's going to fix the problems. They vote back in Democrat. They're idiots. Not on everything. Please understand that. Not on everything. I'm talking about my fellow Americans here. Not on everything. But when it comes to not making connections, and how somebody hasn't done something for 3.5 years and has only made your life worse, and you're willing to sit there and actually go out and vote for the person that you've been bitching and complaining about that wasn't even good enough in 2020, didn't even make it to the Iowa caucus, was one of the most unpopular vice presidents to ever exist. Her poll numbers before she sat there and ran were worse than Joe Biden's. All of a sudden, she's great. She's amazing.
folks, look, it's time to turn the page. America is ready for a new way forward. Well, folks, look.
Why do you need a new way forward? Isn't that whole claim on the idea that the way that was previously being done, meaning her in office, wasn't good? And that's why you need a new way forward, because the things weren't good that you were doing in office? Like, why? Again, I don't understand. If things were so great, wouldn't you just continue the things that you were doing? So clearly your administration was dog shit, and basically you're openly saying it without actually physically saying it. And it's sad because the audience that's in front of you is so dumb, they're so stupid, that they can't actually see the fact that not only are you talking about yourself, but the things that you're talking about yourself on in your terrible party right now, you're projecting as if Donald Trump's doing it. And there is, I know I'm repeating myself, folks, trust me, there's no thought. And I bring that up because, dude, it is a remarkable thing. The lack of, like, knowing what the hell's going on and that this person is sitting saying one thing in front of you, but is doing a complete opposite thing while being in office right now? I'm telling you, if she sat there and held up this white cup and goes, this cup is blue, everybody would lose their minds, be like, you're amazing. Oh my God, you truth teller. You go, girl. You're so brat for telling me that it's blue, but it's white. And they wouldn't even get that far. They wouldn't even get that far. Now, Kamala is here begging for another debate, but yet Donald Trump offered her multiple debates prior. She didn't want to take them.
I believe we owe it to have another debate. Right?
But you didn't want to do the other debates previously. He was going to do like 3 debates, and you didn't want to do it on Fox News, so you sat there and crawled over to ABC News and begged them to help you during the debate to moderate for you, and you got what you wanted. And he's like, why do I need to do this shit?
The voters. Right. We owe it to the voters.
Oh, now all of a sudden it's about the voters. It's never been about the voters. If it was about the voters, you would have allowed people to vote for you, you dumb. Yes, Kamala, you are dumb. The fact that you're going to sit there, we owe it to the voters. Why don't you owe it to your own party to sit there and, I don't know, do a runoff with other Democrats to see who has the best ideas and actually have people vote for you? But don't worry, it's for the voters, you guys. Again, no concept, no recollection, no thought, no connections are being made. It's just, she's black, she's Indian, she's a woman, she's making America the best thing that's ever been. She's going to fix housing, she's going to fix the grocery prices, she's going to fix foreign policy, she's going to fix the border, she's going to fix the illegal immigrants coming in, she's going to fix my locality, she's going to fix my state, she's going to lock Donald Trump up. Yo, it's wild. Well, here's her safety pet.
And you tell me you had this on your bingo card, and they're eating cats, and they're eating cat. What can you say?
They think it's funny. These people are sadistic, guys. I already know that you know that they're sadistic. They showed up with RVs at their convention to kill babies. Of course they're sadistic. These people are allowing terrorists to come into our country. 9/11 was just 2 days ago. They're allowing terrorists to flourish around the world. They're giving the leading sponsor of terrorism $10 billion. They're paying the Taliban $87 million a week. They are sadistic. They're disgusting. You have to understand that there's some things I can't show you on YouTube because I will be deplatformed or removed, or they'll take the video down. There was a guy that I was watching yesterday on X. That's why you need to be on Twitter. Go over to Twitter. You can watch these people skinning cats alive. I saw a guy sitting there taking his full body weight on a live black cat and trying to kill it and break its neck and its spinal cord. I physically watched that last night. These people are not with us. You can watch people on camera, Haitians, beheading ducks and wild birds in Springfield, Ohio. You can physically watch them rotisserie a cat. Yes, right there, perfect, good omen. Psychopaths, yes. And these people not eating cats, not eating dogs. Maybe not you idiots in the crowd, but Haitians are. And they think it's funny. That's fucking weird, man. And remember, this is the guy that says we're weird. This is the guy that says Republican. No, you guys are weird. You're killing babies. You love illegal immigrants coming in. You're allowing slavery to happen, forced labor on children. You're having children take hormone enhancers and puberty blockers and lopping off their genitals. You're showing them how to use butt plugs and dildos in 2nd grade. But we're the weirdos. Again, bring all this stuff up to your Democrat friends. Do it politely, right? But just go, can you explain to me why the Democrats are showing 2nd and 3rd graders how to masturbate with cartoons properly and how to use butt plugs and dildos in the classroom? Can you explain that one to me? Can you explain to me why they're castrating children at like a 5th grade level? Can you explain that to me? Hey, I know you're voting Democrat. It's fine. I know. I'm not trying to change your view. I just need explanations. Is all I need. Why are you voting for an administration that lost 350,000 children, and it's only going up every day, by the way, to forced labor and sex trafficking, and they're selling them off to these psychos around the world? But I thought we're for children. Hey, why are you showing up with RVs at your convention that's killing babies and performing vasectomies? Can you explain that one to me? Hey, are you cool? Do you have a pet? Can I send your pet to the Haitians so they're not just going around killing other people's dogs and cats? Can I send your animal to them? How would you feel if your Fluffy got eaten alive by a Haitian with its spinal cord being broken on camera? How would you feel about that? Probably not so good, but no thought. There's no thought in that mind. No, it's just 4 more years, 4 more years. We're not done. I told you, we're going on long today. I'm a little sick. I'm under the weather. I apologize for all the coughing. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. But we got to keep going because we got a lot of stuff here. I'm contagious. Now, Tim Walsh says they might not be sitting down at the bar talking about banning books, but they might be down there talking about how they can afford a house. I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. Who the hell can afford a house right now? Houses are up like 50%.
They might not be sitting down at the bar talking about banning books, but they might down there be talking about, how can I afford a house? I'm working hard. I want to have a house. They might not be sitting down at the bar talking about banning books.
Sorry, I'm coughing up into the mic. I thought I muted it. What does the sign say on his freaking podium? A new way forward. Yeah, Marxism. That would be new for the United States. Communism would be definitely new. But that's what they want. This guy's a moron, you guys. This guy actually has the audacity in front of a crowd of Democrats to say that they brought down grocery prices. I shit you not. This is real. This is not This is not like AI. I didn't make this up. This dude actually says that Kamla Harris brought down grocery prices, even though grocery prices are up at least 20%. That's average, by the way. That means some things are up 75%, some things are up 50%. On average, 20%. Watch this. This is incredible. And people are like, yeah, hell yeah, he's telling truth.
Making groceries and the things that we know we need, as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fought to bring down inflation, to put our country on a path to recovery. This guy wants to add a national sales tax to all of us, making
Donald Trump's never even talked about a national sales tax, by the way. They're trying to refer to tariffs, but everybody knows just because you bring a product in the United States and that product that might have a tariff on it isn't necessarily sold at a national level. So they're making it seem like, well, everybody is going to have a sales tax. If they were so worried about tariffs, they would get rid of the tariffs that Trump put on China right now during the administration. But again, ask a Democrat why haven't you done it? If they're so terrible, if it's going to make a sales tax on you, why are you not getting rid of the tariffs that are already implemented? But don't worry, you guys. They brought down inflation without actually bringing down inflation. It's a remarkable thing. Everything's 20% up still. And they believe it. Oh, they believe it. So let's actually get to a little bit of actual truth here. Can we get to somebody that has their head on straight? Can we get to Donald Trump during his speech yesterday, which was phenomenal? If you hadn't seen it, if you haven't listened to the speech, go listen to it because it actually was really great. I wish you would have done this on the debate stage.
Kamala Harris, your electricity bills here in Arizona rose an estimated almost 100%. It's the largest increase anywhere in the country. Did you know that? Congratulations. You're number one in the... Oh, that's right. That's not good. No, congratulations. You're number one in the country for the increase in your electric bills. What the hell is going on? As president, I will end the Harris-Biden war on American energy on day one. And under my plan, it is my goal to cut your energy costs by 50% in the first year. 50%. Remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation in the world. More than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We will slash the cost of heating, air conditioning, gasoline, electricity. And by bringing down the price of energy, we will defeat inflation and reduce the prices, which are through the roof right now. People can't afford cereal. You got to see, it's so sad when you see people being interviewed and they buy 3 apples and they walk away from the cashier and they bring an apple back because they can't afford it. And it happens all the time.
He's correct. Now, I'm not so sure if he's going to be able to bring down energy costs by 50% in the first year. It is feasible, But again, you're going to have to, as long as he's able to get rid of the red tape and allow kind of basically get rid of the regulations on the fossil fuel industry, I think it is possible. But here's the issue. Even if you implement fracking, if you remember, when we did implement fracking, it was great, right? It's cleaner, and it actually brought our prices of fuel down, which was great. But what did Saudi Arabia do? What Saudi Arabia did and all these oil countries is then they brought down the price per barrel. And what actually happened, because fracking is so expensive, that it made fracking not feasible. So we're in kind of a hard place here. And the only real way of doing it is obviously, yes, increasing domestic oil production, but you got to remove that red tape. But that's going to be hard, you guys. That's going to be really, really hard because you have to work with federal land. If the states want to give up their land, you got to work with them on that. But if it's a Democrat-run area, it's not going to work out. So I think Trump has an uphill battle here, but this is one of those cases where he says something. I don't think he's going to get 50%. I think energy costs will lower, but I don't think they're going to lower to 50%. Now, look at the other side, though. If Kamla Harris says this, I'm going to decrease your energy prices by 100%. No thought in Democrats' minds. Hell yeah, she's going to do it. Oh, yes, 100%. She promised it. Where I'm sitting here listening to the former president going, it's a very great goal to have, but I don't think it's actually realistic. ScrewTube is throttling my comments. Yeah, Pat, YouTube's hitting us hard. I think YouTube, I'm going to go on a side tangent. I think YouTube actually has us on a ceiling because if you notice, our viewership doesn't actually change all that much, and they usually cap us at a certain level. So it's a really fascinating thing to see is that they don't let my videos go past a certain level. It's really, really weird. I think they have a threshold on it. That's just my opinion based on what I've seen. I mean, look, we have 65,000 subscribers. Like at 50 people watching. God bless y'all for watching. I'm not complaining about that. Just a little bit odd. Out of 65,000 people, you get 50. That's a fraction of a percent. Not to mention, we got people over at Rumble and Twitter and other places like that. So it's definitely more than 50 people watching. But I'm just saying it's a little bit odd to me that, 50 people only know about the show right now. And by the way, that's just for my subscribers. There's a lot of people that are on YouTube currently across the entire world. You have 7 billion people. Really? Yeah, no, they're not throttling us. It's nothing weird here. Nothing to see. It's all normal. It's all normal. Now, upon taking office, Trump said he's going to sign an executive order directing the immediate termination of every single unnecessary rule that is impeding housing construction. Now, a little bit easier said than done, but here he is.
I will also sign an executive order directing the immediate termination of every single unnecessary rule that is impeding housing construction and driving up the costs of housing. Government regulations are responsible for more than 25% of the cost of a new single-family home and 40% of the cost of multifamily homes. Think of it. Regulations costing 40% of the cost, and it takes you years to get it done. We're going to end all of that. I have been a builder my entire life. I understand the problem, and I will fix it. I know how to fix it. Nobody else is going to figure it out. My objective will be to cut the cost of building a new home by 30 to 50%, and much of it is regulation.
He's correct. Jack asked the great question here. How much is the cost of fuel tax? I know in California, I could be wrong on the number, but I think it's about 70 cents almost per gallon that we pay in gas tax here. So if we remove that gas tax, which is supposed to be going towards like repairing our roads, which is a really funny statement because our roads are some of the shittiest in the country, and we have the best climate. It's remarkable. It's not like we're spreading salt on our pavements and stuff, right, that erode it. But, it's going to a good cause, allegedly. Now, Trump says he's going to try to save America's suburbs. This is actually plausible, but what you got to get out and do is actually police the suburbs and, stop having illegal immigrants flooding these areas and, having home invasions, everything like that.
Finally, I will save America's suburbs by protecting single-family zoning. The radical left wants to abolish the suburbs by forcing apartment complexes and low-income housing into the suburbs right next to your beautiful house. Right next, you have a beautiful house, and they want a nice low-income building to be right next to you. I will end this Marxist crusade. I did it, I did it 5-6 years ago. I did it. The suburbs were safe. That's why when they say suburban women maybe don't like Trump, I think they're wrong. I think they love me. I do. I never had problems with women.
Does anybody find low-income housing strange? I never understood that. If you can't afford to live in the area, then you can't afford to live in the area, and you got to go somewhere else that you can afford. There's an entire country out there. I get it. Trust me. I know it's easier said than done, right? I get it. But the fact that, say, somebody's paying, I'm just going to make up a number, $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, but then somebody living literally right next to you in a same exact apartment, basically, is paying a fraction of the price because they make less money. How does that make any sense? Like, I don't understand why you deserve to live where somebody else lives. Why don't you sit there and slash the prices in Beverly Hills, and my ass will go buy a mansion for a fraction of the price up there, and I'll live next to the celebrities, but I don't want to pay anywhere near what they're going to pay because I deserve to live in Beverly Hills. I deserve to live where Kim Kardashian lives. I deserve to live where Kanye West lives. It's a very odd thing that they do affordable housing right next to somebody that's paying market price versus somebody that isn't. It doesn't make sense to me. I get why they're doing it, but it doesn't, again, it's not, in my opinion, if you can't afford to live there, then guess what? You don't live there. Like, if I can't live in Beverly Hills, so guess what? I don't live there. I don't understand this. I'm about to go on another rant. I don't get it. I can't afford a fucking house on the beach, so I don't live there. It's always been that way. I'm about to go on a rant.
I never had any problems. But they say suburban women. So they live in the suburbs, and I'm the one that says you can't build a low-income apartment house where people want to do harm when they move in right next to your beautiful little house, right? And then I hear the women don't like me. The women want strong borders. They don't want to be hurt, molested, killed. They want their family to be safe. They want a strong military so we're not going to be attacked by anybody. Peace through strength.
Now, that's what you would think that they want, and Trump is correct that you would think people would want this, but that's not what suburban women are voting. They don't like Trump, unfortunately. Suburban women do not like Trump. Now, he did announce a new plan to eliminate all taxes on overtime pay. I don't need to show the clip. He said it yesterday. I like that. I think that's going to help out a lot of Americans and really alleviate some things. Also, he says over the past 3.5 years, the Biden-Harris administration has resettled 500,000 illegal migrants from failed state of Haiti into American communities. It's absolutely correct, including over 200,000 who Kamla Harris has illegally flown in the United States. It's way more than that. We were covering flights in the United States long before it actually hit mainstream news. Haitian refugees are sitting there breaking the laws, wreaking havoc across multiple areas in the country, specifically more so Ohio. But what's being said here is they don't understand the laws, cultural clashes. This is a bigger conversation that we don't have time for. But when you have people that don't want to assimilate to your country, they don't believe in your laws, they don't believe in your creed, your value, your constitution, then those are people that should have never been allowed in the first place. You want people that are going to make America better. You don't want to make people you don't want people coming in that don't believe in the thing that you created, and they want to change every aspect of the thing you created. That's why Democrats, I never understood, want to sit there and allow people to pour across our borders, legal or not, that don't believe in the very thing that we hold so dear and sacred, which is the Constitution of the United States and Declaration of Independence. They don't believe in that stuff. Some of them do. A lot of immigrants that come over and want to live the American dream, build businesses, right? They try to sit there and get their son or daughter through college. Like, they're hardworking people. My dad's an immigrant. He came over here legally. So I understand that aspect. But there are a lot of people that are being let in right now under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden that don't want to assimilate to this country. They don't want to follow the laws. They want to sit there and eat your cats and dogs. They're sitting there doing the same thing they did in their other country here because they were allowed in for a better life. If you wanted to partake in the American dream, you would start a business or you'd get a job and you'd contribute to society and make things better, but they don't want to do that. So we'll cut the show here, folks. We got through maybe 70% of the show. We had a lot more stuff. I will go over this then tomorrow here, hopefully on the Bald Brad Show. I got a little bit of some doctor stuff to go to, and I got to get a crown put in my mouth. But other than that, hope you're all doing well. I'm a little under the weather, so thank you for kind of bearing with me as I coughed and doing all sorts of stuff. I appreciate it. With that being said, hit that like and subscribe, Patriots. If you want to join us, it is 99 cents. There's a $4.99 option or $9.99 option. Just hit that join button. And all the proceeds go back to us. We also have a website, baldbrad.com. You get merchandise. We got mugs. We got hoodies. We got a lot of women's stuff. Look, Terry's in here. Sharon's in here. We got, I don't know, Jeff. Jeff, do you identify as a woman? That's a joke, by the way. Jeff, I love you. We got Miriam in here. We got Terry. I think I said Terry. We got a lot of ladies in here. There is merchandise for the women. Miriam's in here. Mizzy, everybody else. Dizzy, maybe you got a lady. I don't know. But grab them some of the merch as well, folks. And with that being said, have a blessed weekend. I'll be back here tomorrow with the Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.